Judge Gorsuch has officially been confirmed to the Supreme Court, but prior to his confirmation, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse was on MSNBC to talk about why the Republican Party was so adamant about getting him on the Supreme Court. He rightfully pointed out that the Republican Party wants someone on the bench that would do the bidding for corporate America. And with $10 million in dark money behind him, it's very clear that Judge Gorsuch will in fact do good things for corporate America. Now, the interview itself took a turn for the worse when Joe Scarborough kind of challenged him on this point and said, you know, it's not really just about money, it's also about judicial philosophy and whatnot. But what happened was Joe brought up a point about Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and said, well, if you care so much about money in politics, who did you support during the primary? And Sheldon Whitehouse's response was ridiculous. He made a complete fool of himself, and the interview turned into a disaster of epic proportions that will probably be remembered as the most embarrassing moment of Sheldon Whitehouse's career. Let's watch.
They want to rebuild a 5-4 court that will do the things that their big donors want. That is the only explanation that makes sense in all of this. So it's not just the tit for tat, it's the why that makes one think.
Well, I mean, that's not the only political explanation. I mean, there's some people that have different judicial philosophies than you and have different judicial philosophies than Ruth Bader Ginsburg and have different judicial philosophies than Barack Obama. Some of us have a different view of what the Supreme Court could and should not do. So I don't give a damn about big donors. I don't give a damn about big corporations. I think hedge fund guys in hedge funds and women in hedge funds should pay more than 14% taxes. I think they should pay a minimum of 30% taxes. At the same time,
and none of that happens in the Senate because of the power of these people, which the Supreme Court gave to them in the Citizens United decision, in an unprecedented and very poorly reasoned decision.
This all started with Citizens United? Did you support Hillary Clinton or did you support Bernie Sanders? I don't know the answer to that question.
I supported Hillary.
Hillary, I mean, can you think of a major Democratic candidate in the history of the party that had closer ties to Wall Street than Hillary Clinton? I can't.
No, but no, but she may have been the Democrat with the closest ties, but the Republicans are married at the hip. So please,
I think
not really much of a
most of the people on Wall Street, again, not to be difficult, but not to be difficult.
Trump's administration right now, for Lord's sake.
Most of the people I know that run Wall Street, and you know it's the truth too. Oh, you don't want me to finish the answer?
Well, hold on.
You don't want me to?
You go, and then he goes.
Well, it's hard to when I can't finish a sentence. You and I both know that Wall Street wanted Hillary Clinton to win a hell of a lot more than they wanted Donald Trump to win.
Oh, please. They were spending money in New Hampshire for Bernie Sanders.
Oh, please? Are you? Okay, so you're on national television. I want you to know that. And everything that you were saying is going down on transcripts. I'm going to ask you again. Is it your position here, based on everything you've said before, and that's why I'm asking this question, that people that ran Wall Street preferred Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election?
Probably not, because he is a potentially dangerous and a very unpredictable person.
I agree.
But they did not want Hillary Clinton to win. That is why Wall Street money supported Bernie Sanders in Democratic primaries to take her out, because they thought she would be the stronger candidate. You can't pretend that didn't happen.
I can pretend that can't happen because the Clintons had an extraordinarily close relationship with Wall Street, and they have for the past 20 or 30 years. So
nothing like the Republican Party, not even close.
Oh my God, Republican candidates running for president would love
not even close
to have the relations with Wall Street that the Clintons have had over the past 30 years. So anyway,
yeah, right. She gave a speech to Goldman Sachs, and he's put what, 3 Goldman Sachs people into the cabinet? Come on.
And of course, you know, it's a shame. I can't even believe we're even having this discussion. Of course, the Clintons never put people from Goldman Sachs in their cabinets. I don't even know how we got here.
Well, we'll never know, will we?
Well, no, I'm talking about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Wow. The cognitive dissonance there is very strong in Senator Whitehouse. So when I watch this clip, I can't help but think this is exactly why Democrats have zero credibility, because, you know, they talk about money in politics, but when push comes to shove, when they're challenged on their own team doing the same thing they rail against, well, they say, well, yeah, you know, Hillary Clinton, he said specifically, she might have been the Democrat with the closest ties to Wall Street, but I mean, Republicans, they're married to the hip. Okay. That doesn't make you look very good. It makes you look like a hypocrite, because what you're saying is, well, you know what? I talk about how money in politics is a problem, but so long as you take less money than the other team, well then it's not really that big of a deal. So you're a hypocrite, Sheldon. What you did was make a complete and utter fool of yourself, and make no mistake about it, he just straight up lied. He said, quote, Wall Street was spending money in New Hampshire for Bernie Sanders, and then he said Wall Street did not want Hillary Clinton to win, which is why Wall Street money supported Bernie Sanders in Democratic primaries. That was perhaps one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. To say that Wall Street didn't want Hillary Clinton to win is tantamount to saying that the sky is green, right? It's so absurd, it's so stupid that nobody believes it. Even Hillary Clinton would laugh hysterically at that statement because it's so untrue.
They did not want Hillary Clinton to win. That is why Wall Street money supported Bernie Sanders.
Now, Sheldon, he's a senator, he's a smart guy. He knows that Bernie Sanders was not taking Wall Street money, but, in typical Democratic Party fashion, they like to lie and obfuscate the truth to make themselves look better. Case in point, Hillary Clinton did the same thing during the campaign. She alleged that Bernie Sanders took $200,000 in Wall Street money, but this was a claim that was so false, so utterly absurd, that even CNN decided that they wanted to debunk it because it was just too stupid for them.
Senator Sanders took about $200,000 from Wall Street firms, not directly, but through the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee. There was nothing wrong with that. It hasn't changed his view. Well, it didn't change my view or my vote either.
Is that true? Did Bernie Sanders take about $200,000 from Wall Street firms through the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee? No, it's not true. The DSCC did support Sanders when he ran for the U.S. Senate in 2006, and the DSCC gave $37,300 to the Sanders campaign, and then spent an additional $60,000 supporting him in campaign advertising. It also gave $110,000 to the Vermont Democratic Party to help Sanders. That adds up to $207,300 from the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee for Bernie Sanders and the Democratic Party of Vermont. And Wall Street is not the sole source of the DSCC's money. According to the Center for Responsive Politics, the DSCC raised $121.4 million that cycle. Now, of that money, about $10 million of it, so 8%, that came from Wall Street. We're including, when we say Wall Street, contributions from the employees of Wall Street and the PACs, the political action committees of companies in the industries of commercial banks and securities and investment. So what Hillary Clinton is saying about Bernie Sanders is a rather big exaggeration. Actually, using this logic, it's interesting, the biggest single contributor to the DSCC in that election cycle was Hillary Clinton's Senate Campaign Committee, Friends of Hillary. Goldman Sachs only gave $685,000. So using this logic, Hillary Clinton and her campaign committee gave Bernie Sanders $200,000. Right?
Wrong.
If the Clinton news network thinks something is such an idiotic claim that they're willing to debunk it even if it makes Hillary Clinton look bad, then you're in the wrong. But I mean, Sheldon Whitehouse, he stuck to his guns here, even if the panel literally laughed at him. And he said she gave a speech to Goldman Sachs, and he's put 3 Goldman Sachs people into his cabinet. Again, purporting the notion, or purporting the idea anyways, that so long as Democrats are a little bit less corrupt than Republicans, then everything is peachy keen. We don't have to worry about money in politics because it just doesn't affect Democrats. The response from the panel was the correct response. They just laughed at him. They literally laughed at him because that's all you can do. Does he honestly believe that Hillary Clinton wouldn't have appointed people to Goldman Sachs had she won? She was friends with the CEO of Goldman Sachs, Lloyd Blankfein. She was friends with him. She was friends with the criminal banker whose bank was in part responsible for the 2008 economic crash. Wall Street did not want Hillary Clinton to win. That's why they were bankrolling Bernie Sanders in certain Democratic primaries. This is... when I watched it, I was speechless. I didn't know how I was even going to respond to this, because if somebody says something that's so stupid that you can't respond because they've thrown all logic out the window, then... This is a new low in terms of stupidity. Democrats continue to lower the bar when it comes to idiotic things that they will say to defend Hillary Clinton. Well, how about this? How about you actually be objective and stop playing team politics and call out corruption on your own side? I like that he's talking about money in politics, but why don't you do the same thing when your own side does this? I mean, this is what frustrated me with Elizabeth Warren. She called out Republicans' connection to Wall Street all the time. She said, Donald Trump, he gave Wall Street a big sloppy kiss, but she was willing to not talk about Hillary Clinton's connection to Wall Street. Okay, if you want any credibility whatsoever, you have to be consistent and call out corruption on both sides, because the American people look at you as a joke. They look at the Democratic Party as a joke.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.